Hey y'all, welcome back to the party. It is me, your girl BrittReacts, and today I'm going to react to another video of my cousin, Mr. Mrlboyd, reacting to a video. And when I saw this title pop up on his page, I just simply could not help myself. This is Mr. Mrlboyd reacting to "Are white people tired of black people? ... Black fatigue has swept America." Not me hitting my... All right, let's see what him and this video he's watching is talking about, all right?
Blackness fatigue. The name of the channel that this video is coming from is Wild Bill for America. All right, let's go and jump into this immediately. Blackness fatigue? What does that even mean, bro?
What does
let's
it
check
mean?
it out.
The sigh.
Blackness fatigue is setting in. America is exhausted from dealing with the never-ending complaints and ingratitude of the black community. Black racism against whites and Asians has reached violent proportions, and with the help and funding of the Democrat Party, militant black racism is getting worse. Well, here's a wild Bill bullet of truth for America. White Americans are the least racist people in the USA, probably the whole world. We have been non-racist for the last 50 years, but today the Democrat Party is using racism as a political weapon, and white America is exhausted from dealing with blackness that has been coming against them day after day for years. White Americans who have never had a racist thought in their lives are tired of being constantly accused of racism. They're tired of being told that every problem in the black community is the fault of white people, that the massive failures of black cities and neighborhoods and families is our fault. This week, some fruitcake politician declared that blacks violently attacking Asians is caused by white people.
Okay, wait. Hold on, wait. I just wanted to make sure I heard this man out before I said a single thing here. Okay? I can definitely tell you this, like...
You know, y'all know Mr. Mrlboyd, but I know Mr. Mrlboyd, and I'm cracking up at... they're just like... Look at him, he's ready to go. He's locked and loaded. Okay, that was a lot. There was a lot of huhs in there because okay. All right, I'm gonna let my cousin go first, and then I perhaps will share my thoughts after he's finished, if he hasn't said everything I'm thinking.
Man out before I said a single thing here. Okay. I can definitely tell you this, like 1,000%, guys. I've been to over 140 countries. All right. I can definitely tell you the places where things were the worst, almost exclusively due to the color of my skin. That was East Asia. Okay. And I mean, period. Like, I mean, if you want to get looked at, I mean, I'm not sure that some people think specifically you eat with your mouth. I don't know, but they stare at you while you're eating. I've never seen one of those eat before. That was a type of feeling that I got basically in East Asia, pretty much all the countries. Name them. Yes. Okay. I can definitely tell you that in the United States of America, because of where I am, where I have been in the country, specifically culturally, I have not experienced much craziness, guys. Like, I hear what everyone says that kind of looks like me. I have the same similar skin tone. I just have not experienced these things. I'm not taking away from the fact that you may have, right? But my personal experience would dictate that that's not my American experience, guys, right? Not at all. But again, I grew up very differently than the average person who, let's say, looks like specifically like me here, guys. I also don't adhere to anything that is culturally considered cool or the norm, let's say, in Black American society.
He's not kidding.
Now, are all Black Americans what we probably run to immediately, guys? Mentally, no, not at all, because I'm Black American and I'm not what is the overall stereotype or perception, let's say. Right. If we're talking about specifically that ilk, I'm tired of that also. Okay, period. I am not specifically happy that it exists, guys. I mean, listen, you don't need to be so adversarial, let's say, at all towards each other. That's the reality of the situation here. If that's what he's talking about, I hear him. guys. I hear him. How he's saying it is intriguing, let's say,
Right.
to say the least here. But if that's what he's saying here, bro.
Blacks violently.
Okay. I agree with a lot of what Mr. Mrlboyd said here. The delivery of this is wild. The way he is delivering this is crazy. But I do think, first of all, it's so hard for me not to just drop his whole government name. But Mr. Mrlboyd is one of the most well-traveled, educated people I know. Like, has read every book. Like, he just is extremely knowledgeable and wise. And okay, I'm trying to like okay, I'm going through everything he says so I can kind of go down the list. One, I have yet to visit a country in East Asia. However, I have several friends that have like toured out there, and I have a friend that goes out there often and she teaches dance classes, and that is overwhelmingly so the consensus is that these people just don't necessarily see people with our skin color up close doing everyday things all the time. And so it's almost like a fish in a fishbowl or an animal in the zoo. It's like, imagine what a freaking gorilla feels like when we're just standing there watching him live his life. He's like, what's so intriguing about this? But it's just something we've not seen in our everyday life. And so I don't have an experience to tell you if it's racism or not, but I think it's just people not having seen it outside of like television. I can also boldly say to you that Mr. Mrlboyd and I both went to predominantly white schools for the majority of our lives. And much like him, I agree that I didn't grow up in what I think is the stereotypical Black experience that people assume Black people have. Like, I didn't grow up in a super urban area. My family is all, educated and have jobs. Like, I'm saying what I think a lot of the stereotypical, right? He's talking culturally and all these things. So, and I get the comment all the time, and I'm sure my cousin does as well, like, you're so well spoken and articulate. And it's like, because I think the stereotype follows Black people that we are not that. And I'm here to tell you, many of us are that. And we just are tired of hearing like the whole notion that like, and not from, a lot of times it's from within our own community. Like, oh, you talk like a white girl. Oh, you dress like a white girl. And it's like, what does that even mean? What does that mean? Like, so in that regard, I definitely agree. What I will also say is that we both are from Long Island, and we both moved to the South and did grade school, a chunk of grade school in the South. And, I didn't encounter much racism as a child or a teenager, or maybe I just was oblivious to it, but I have had my own experiences myself and seen people have their experiences like as well with racism. But I think a lot less of it than a lot of people want to admit if they want to stay on the angry side of things. Do you know what I mean? Not excusing the people who exhibited those behaviors, but just saying like, I'm not sure it's as bad as some people want others to believe. And the last thing I will say that I agree with Mr. Mrlboyd is I think a lot of us as in Black people are sick of this whole narrative of like, we've been held down and da-da-da. It's like, all right, guys, we can only be the victim for so long. And a lot of what we need to clean up is inside of the Black community. And I know a lot more Black people that will tell you that than the opposite. So, I think it matters who you're speaking to and their circumstances and where they come from. But yeah, I agree a lot with my cousin and some with this gentleman here. I can't tell if he's trolling or not. I really can't.
To say the least here. But if that's what he's saying here, bro.
Blacks violently attacking Asians is caused by white people. No
Explain that one.
Yeah, that one I don't know anything
about. They are slandered as villains by Blacks who are determined to punish white Americans simply for being white. They are unappeasable. Now, millions of immigrants came here from England, Poland, Italy, South America, Vietnam, Russia.
Right.
They came from all around the world.
Okay.
And they were dirt poor when they arrived.
Right.
But they worked hard and became successful and rich.
Right. I'm glad you said he pointed out came, not were brought. There's a slight difference in the argument here.
Yes,
I hear what he's trying to say. Hey, listen, these people came here. They were poor. They are living
They
their
had
own
the
specific
American
American dream,
dream.
but that's not generally the case for many Black Americans. Specifically, where they are like coming from, the descendants of the people that they, right? Like understand, like for the most part, a genetic memory can kind of exist because you're going to raise your kids with how you know, right? And unfortunately, since the poorest group in the United States of America are Black Americans, imagine how households are, for example. Right, the grandmother is still alive. The grandmother remembers their grandmother. Right, their grandmother remembers their grandmother. And guess what? They all taught themselves over the last 150 years. Because it's the same. It's a cycle. Right, like I mean, poverty for the most part is something that absolutely can be attributed specifically to a mentality at times.
Absolutely.
Because again, I'm Black American, and that was not my lived experience in the United States of America. But obviously, I'm stating what I am stating is in fact anecdotal evidence, right? So I'm only giving you my specific experience, not the experience of any other individual at all here in this context. But bro, I'm thinking that's exactly what it is. All right, you have a grandmother teaching all the kids, the sons, the father, everyone is teaching the same thing that they knew basically from 100 plus years ago. Things were better, in fact, kind of before, let's say the 50s, let's say, in terms of nuclear households and families where you actually had the ability to kind of come up a little bit. But guys, we have to understand that there's a difference in terms of this argument. This argument is very flawed here. You're talking about people who willfully came here versus people who didn't, right? But either way.
When they arrived.
I think I wholly agree. I absolutely agree with the generational, context of how people are thought and what they're thought they're taught to believe. And I think that's across any race, if this video is about race, so let's say the word race. I think that, I just was having, it's so interesting how these videos happen in serendipity or synchronicity. I just was having a conversation last night with two of my friends about how there's this new show out on Netflix called Forever. And for context, my friends, one is a white girl and one is a Black male. They are both younger than me, significantly younger than me. They are colleagues of my husband, and I love to hang out with them. They're such a good time. And so we were talking about this show, and I told him that I wanted him to watch the show. She and I had seen it. And she was like, it's corny. And I said, okay, hold on. I don't disagree with you. I think the show is corny, but you got to put some context on it and why it's so important for the Black community, because so often many of us don't see a representation of positivity of the Black nucleus family, Black relationships, Black just living and work situations and dynamics. And this show exemplifies that. You have a Black nucleus family with a mother and a father that have a healthy marriage. There's no drug, alcohol abuse happening. They have their two sons and they're well off. They're super well off. And then you have the young girl that's in the story, and she's living with her mom in a single parent household, but her and her mother have a beautiful relationship. Her father and she don't have the greatest relationship, but she still respects and honors her father. And so these are not things that Black people are used to seeing, both imagery on TV, but also sometimes in their real lived experiences. And so it may have been corny to her, and it is the story. It's teenage love, so to any adult it's going to come off a little corny, but it's so important right now to so many people because they don't live that. That's not their experience. And I think I used to say this often on my channel it first started, I think we all have to have grace for other people's experiences. And just because it's not something that you have witnessed, you have seen, you have experienced, doesn't mean it's not a true lived experience for somebody else. And that goes across the board outside of racism. I'm talking everything. I also have to teach my daughter, because she like meets a new person and immediately wants to go over to the house. And I'm like, you have got to understand something. Everyone doesn't live the same way you live. And that's from pets to smoking to how they speak in their home, how they eat, what they eat. Like, everyone lives differently inside of their homes. And we try to teach her, like, I can't just say, oh, you met a new friend, she must be nice, I'm going to send you to their parents' house. I don't know their parents. I don't know anything that go, like, I know nothing. And so again, it's like everyone is living inside their own bubble, and not no one, but there's such a lack of empathy and compassion and thought about how other people are living and what they're coming up against. I posted a short not too long ago of Josh Johnson joking. It was all jokes, but I think some of there was some truth there. He's talking about how his Uber was a Tesla and he couldn't get into the Tesla, and he made a joke basically saying in his experience as a black man, he's had some Uber drivers give him a little bad energy because he was a black male. How can I, as a black female, tell him that's not true? How can you, as an Asian American, tell him that's not his experience? I think we have to stop saying things are not what they are because it's not something we have dealt with, is where I stand on certain things. I can never tell somebody else what they have been dealing with. You can't do that. So I do agree here. I think some of this is reaching. For sure.
People who didn't, right? But either way.
When they arrived, but they worked hard and became successful and rich.
And no one is taking that from them.
And well-adjusted citizens. So why is it that the African community has remained in poverty for 150 years? We built nice new apartment buildings that quickly became high-crime ghettos. Want to get an...
Are you joking, bro?
Built nice new apartment buildings that quickly became high-crime ghettos.
Okay.
Want to get an education on what's happening in Black America? Get on the internet and type in brawls. Restaurant brawls, shopping center brawls.
Oh, no, he's right.
Food
No, he's right. Wait.
And look at what you see in those videos.
Again, it's his delivery that's
it's
a little
like... It's not the Germans or the Italians who are turning public places into savage mass fistfights. And it's not the Australians who are walking the streets looking to beat the hell out of some pedestrian simply for having white skin. And it's not the Vietnamese who are burning and looting American cities. And
yeah, I'm going to agree with Mrlboyd on this one. The delivery feels non-productive, I think. It feels like he's trying to generate hate towards the other side and fear-mongering towards the other side. Not negating these events. I don't have any, off the top of my head, proof if they're happening, but I'm sure they are. I'm sure there have been, all of these things have happened that he said, but again, like, let's not blanket an entire community, please. Thank you so much. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, this is going to do way less positive. There will be way less positivity that is birthed from this video, I think, than I feel like there'll be more negativity. It's just, yeah, I'm with Mrlboyd. It's just like, this is okay. All right.
And it's not the Vietnamese who are burning and looting American cities. And it's not the Russians who are fighting with and sometimes killing our police officers. Now, there are, of course, honorable and respectable men like Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas and Dr. Ben Carson. These men are extremely successful and at the pinnacle of their possessions. But for some inexplicable reason, they are hated and ridiculed by the black community as if their success is somehow a betrayal of their race.
Yeah. Crabs in a barrel. That's kind of what my my grandmother always used to say, you under no circumstance really want to partake too deeply within the culture of the masses. Basically, if the masses like it, go against it. And that's what my grandmother basically taught me when I was young. Like, understand this to the depth of me here. If the entire culture loves it, don't do it. Never. And it specifically is what she said, Black America, guys. So that's the reality of the situation here. He's not wrong here. The people that he did mention there, they are absolutely at the top of their career. They are great members of society. They're not walking around bragging about criminality, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're not doing these things. But again, if this is what he means by black fatigue, his delivery is terrible, right? But sometimes you kind of need these terrible deliveries, let's say, to kind of get the point across here. He's just being pure logical, and I respect the concept of it again, because he's speaking how I'm not sure I've ever heard anyone speak. I'm just going to be completely honest here. Not on the internet. Not on the internet, guys. This man is sick of it.
Yeah,
I agree, though, bro. I'm sick of it, too. I don't like the fact that it represents, like, for example, I walk into a room, right? Yeah. And the rest of the culture follows me, if that makes any sense. Until generally I start speaking and things are understood slightly different, let's say. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not a fan of it neither, bro. I'm telling you this right now. I don't like it. I don't like none of it. I don't like any type of ghetto hood mentality type of things. I'm not a fan, bro.
He's not a fan.
It's not me. And I think personally a lot of my kind of outlook on life kind of changed as I went through my journey of chasing UNESCO World Heritage sites around the world, guys. I had to escape the grips, let's say, of.
So speaking to this is a privilege that Mrlboyd has that a lot of black people don't have in the community, is to get outside of where all they know. And that is how the cycle continues. And that is what I mean by circumstances. There are some people who cannot leave the hood they were born in. And then guess what? They bring children into that hood, who bring children into that hood, who bring children into that hood. And you're like, why can't they break the cycle? So-and-so came across the pond and started a whole business, like, because they don't have the education or even the vision to do so. And that is why circumstances matter. You can tell someone, yeah, but like, I was able to start a business and make 7 figures and change my family's trajectory and my family legacy, and that's fine. But if you match up the circumstances, the resources, and the accessibility, I promise you, I can guarantee you, there's a 90% to 95% chance they won't align. And that is where circumstances come. Okay, we want to take it from black to white. The white people who are born in trailer parks, that are considered trailer park trash, who then go on, they don't ever leave that space, they don't ever leave that community, they don't ever go out for a higher education, they stay in that, and they then complete the cycle, and their children are born there, and their children are born there, and their children are born there. And so I think a lot of times, like Mrlboyd said, the crab in the barrel mentality is like, if I'm down here, you got to be down here. And if somehow you soar above me, and God forbid you don't think how I think, you've betrayed us. You've stabbed us in the back. You are a sellout. You're a traitor. I think it's kind of, I agree. I definitely agree. And it's so detrimental to any type of growth. It is so detrimental to any kind of growth. I think, to take it completely into a different realm, I think for social media content creators, not so much influencers, but content creators, and I'm sure my cousin could probably attest to this, but like, the minute you tell someone, oh, I'm a content creator, you kind of get scoffed, or like, oh, okay. And then perhaps the number of subscribers you have come up, and they realize, oh, like, she's got a following. They start to like lean in a little bit more. And then if God forbid, like, monetization and AdSense comes up, and they realize, oh, and then all of a sudden you've got everyone's attention. And it's like, people will dismiss something until they feel it is valid. And I think, again, how do you know like what content creating is if you don't do it? And so how are you passing judgment? You don't know my circumstances. I think it's across the board. We've got to be less judgmental and stereotyping people, and like, get to just know people for who they are. Again, I think with this man, his delivery is a little harmful, because he is speaking to he's speaking about every single Black American. And I've never done any of these things he's listed here. I like don't associate myself with people. I'm married to a black man who also doesn't, like my black brothers don't. It's just like it feels dangerous, this rhetoric, because it is so blanketed. And so yeah, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna let both of them.
It's around the world,
wrap
guys.
it up.
I had to escape the grips, let's say, of the attractiveness of like the hood type culture.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. It's attractive, but I don't want
It's
it.
attractive
Men
because
like
everybody
Carson and Thomas should be held up as role
romanticizes
models
it.
and emulated, not hated and criticized.
They're always going to be hated.
America is suffering from blackness fatigue, and that fatigue is slowly but surely becoming a boiling rage. Even the friendliest dog will bite if you kick him long enough. And that is where white America is today. There's a showdown coming. There is no more that we can give. We're done apologizing
Like
for
violence?
imaginary violations, and we're done surrendering to black racism. There's a showdown coming, and it's going to get ugly.
Okay. Okay.
He's over it. He's done with
Wait a
it.
second. He definitely. Let me tell you how I hear this man. I hear what he's saying here. He's
Right.
obviously, he's outraged, and I'm
He's
going
fed
to
up.
go ahead and attribute some of the things that he's saying specifically towards the end here as he's just outraged, right? Because again, that it's interesting to say the least how he's saying it. Again, I'm not a super fan of his delivery, but again, his delivery is his delivery, respect or not. The
Right.
words that he's actually using specifically seem to be pretty. I can imagine how you're sick and tired of like ghetto and I mean like the most garbage culture on earth is this culture, okay? Like violent unnecessarily violent.
I don't know if I agree with the most garbage culture, Mr. Mrlboyd. Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to say like how we can't negate this man's experience. He is where he is because obviously he has experienced some things. I do think his delivery comes off a little anti-productive, but that's my opinion. I don't agree that black culture is the black American culture, right? We're talking all the good and the bad. I don't think it's garbage. I just think it needs to be radically fixed from the inside out, meaning the black culture needs to take a look at itself and say, what do we want to represent and perpetuate? And then work on doing that, from the music to the violence to our families, creating broken families and you know what I mean? Just all of those things. How can we radically eradicate some of what's going on? But I do think there is a beauty in the Black American culture and the togetherness that it could have in creating better for ourselves and then in turn everyone who we come in contact with. So I don't agree, but I understand Mr. Mrlboyd and what he's saying. Again, knowing him personally, I understand like his life experience as a black male who doesn't perpetuate the black male stereotypes and how frustrating that has been. Because again, he walks in a room and people immediately will write him off until they hear him speak. And I've watched it happen. So, yeah. Okay. I said I was going to let him finish, but it's a long video.
Wearing basically nothing in public and proud of it, right? Lack of fathers in the households, guys. This is, I hear what you're saying, bro. If you're sick of it, imagine I'm probably sick. I'm more sicker of it than you are. I've already said in numerous videos on the internet here, guys. Like, if you make me president for one day, I'm going straight for the ghetto, bro. I'm telling you, I'm going straight for the ghetto. The hoods, all of that, all of that type of stuff. I have a natural aversion to it, and it's all rooted in the fact that when I walk into a room, that nonsense is what's perceived of me generally before I even say anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, you're making everyone, the ones who don't care about, you're making all of us look bad, bro. All right, I'm fully aware we're not a monolith. Absolutely, we do have the ability to kind of think fluidly and on our own, guys. You get what I mean here? Not every single person is the same, guys. Right? But the problem is that there's so much of the 14% that absolutely loves and adheres to this ghetto, sexy red type of culture.
Oh,
guys.
don't get me started on sexy
Right?
red.
I understand.
Ooh.
I understand, bro.
Oh,
I'm not a fan of it, but
absolutely
bro,
not.
I can imagine how you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And like I can listen to like off of like when no one's around, I can listen to specifically how like Black Americans speak about white people. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. Like I mean, listen, he's not wrong. Then obviously in the comments are going to be all types of people who are saying, "I've never said this." All right, bro. I hear you. Sure thing, bro. Right? Like that's
Who's
not
more fed up, the guy in the video or you? L, who's more upset?
Right. So my wife has very, very light skin. She's from the south of Spain. She's more like an olive skin tone, right? South of Europe. And I can definitely tell you the experiences that that she specifically has encountered is also intriguing before they recognize that she's with me. Right. So I hear what he's saying also. But bro, I think everyone just talks about everyone. Okay, but I mean,
100% agree. I think we all got to stop being so self-righteous. Like, I've never, like, come on now. Like, if we're all being honest, none of us are throwing stones from, okay, we all in glass houses. Let's just be honest. And that goes, it's like, again, beyond race. Like, come on, be honest.
I think everyone just talks about everyone. Okay, but
especially if they just don't
I can give you
agree.
more examples of nearly all of the, I would say a solid 80% of like Black Americans solid that I have personally encountered have all said some craziness racially. You get what I'm saying here. All right. Now the attacking of specifically Asians, I don't understand where that came
that
from
one
like that.
I don't know.
I could definitely tell you right now that the most, without a doubt, the singularly most like racist experiences I've ever had were with East Asians. Right. Like if you listen to the culture, right? You'll start to realize that they absolutely have a natural aversion specifically to dark skin. Okay, so just understand that it's like baked into the culture. All right, it's baked in. So
well, to be fair, not saying fair to any kind of racism, but colorism is also something that is embedded. It's embedded in the Black culture. It's embedded in a lot of cultures, and I mean, I've seen for myself, like in the Chinese culture, the more snow white a woman's skin is, the more beautiful she is. Like they hire certain women in certain places in East Asia for the color of their skin, the fairness of their skin. And so, I mean, I'm just saying if you equate that to Blackness and the deeper your skin tone, it's probably the same thing in their minds, because again, that is their cultural experience. There's a theme here, friends.
The culture, all right, it's baked in. So I understand. So I can imagine again why there are some Black people who are sick of that. And I have no idea the exact instance he's talking about. I don't know any stories or anything like that. I haven't seen any news coverage or anything like that regarding it. Same. But I can imagine how there are some Black people who are just like, okay, right. And I can imagine that not warranting it, not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. It was a bad thing. Keep your hands off of people. Right. If someone doesn't like you, bro, you don't have to be around them. Right. In reality, right. But within my travels, specifically working for a company that I cannot mention on the internet, right? But it's a company that you travel and look at landmarks and see people and things like that, photograph people in like small villages and things like that. Either way, but the amount of like, oh, where's your tail? Okay, in Asia that I've experienced was my tail, bro. My tail.
Where's my tail?
Okay, all right, East Asia. Thank you for that one. Now I have a memory, I have a core memory. All right, that I'm basically latching onto right now to explain to you that it's East Asia. I think it's Asia in general, though, because I had similar experiences in India, right? So just
Really?
understand it's Asia in general. If you want to talk about the most racist people towards black people on this planet are Asians. Not everyone, obviously, but that's where it is. That's where my biggest experience is, along with like my assistant, and it's Asia most. And guys, keep going. I live half the year in Europe. Okay, so just understand. Like I'm just trying to express this to you. I think it's definitely Asia. All around Europe, people are just like blah, whatever. Live your life, bro. Right. But either way, listen, guys, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I am absolutely in full understanding of what he's saying here. If you're sick of it, bro, I'm more sick of it. Okay.
Oh man. I love his new like video setup. Shout out to you, L. I'm gonna try and get back over to his studio next month for you guys so we can film some more content side by side. I love going over there. He's got like, he's doing some really cool things too. He's got some cool stuff coming down the pipeline that I'm excited to watch. I love watching it like happen in real time. So anyway, shout out to my cousin, Mr. Mrlboyd. If you're not following him, go follow him. I agree. I think there's some other things like, again, experience is a big thing because I've heard other people say they've gone to like places like Italy. Other people, meaning people of black people, saying they've gone to Italy and felt racism. But I know other black people said they've gone to Italy and had the best time of their lives. I think things matter. I think factors for everyone matter. Pretty privilege is a thing. Economic status is a thing. Fashion and what you wear is a thing to how people treat you and talk to you. There's all these, you know, circumstances that matter. I think at the bottom line though, the end of the day is like, let's just all work on being better human beings, please, for the love of Pete. I enjoyed this. You guys seem to like when I react to my cousin, so let me know if there's another video you want me to react to. And again, hopefully we'll be together again soon. All right, that is all I have for you. Be kind in the comments or don't comment at all. Go and have the day that you deserve. Bye.